Hello and welcome to the Art Market podcast. Hi, I'm here with model maker AlanTolfrey. Can you tell us a little bit about your company and how it all began?
Oh, yes. Well, the company is called Mosley Model Maker because I live in Mosley and I'm a model maker. And I set the business up about 18 months ago when I left work and decided never to work for anyone else again. And I'd made models 40 years or so, started doing railway modelling and then did architecture and town planning when I was younger. And then spent all these years working and decided I'd go out and get a business started.
So you made like railway models?
Yes,
Is that how it all began?
That's how it all began when I was about 15 years old. And I did the usual model railway layouts and then lost interest in the locomotives and things and got interested in the buildings. And so I've done it as a hobby on and off for some years.
When you go visiting places, do you take pictures? Are you know, when other people are kind of taking pictures of people and who they're with, you're kind of like focusing more on the building and the architecture and things like that?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Is that your passion?
Yeah. I don't always look at the grand buildings as being beautiful buildings. They're very, very nice indeed. But it's the more simple buildings that I think have got the character. Because in a lot of cases, there's a lot of work goes into building a house. The amount of work goes into that, and the reason why certain bricks match with certain bricks or stone or whatever, what materials have used, all that is just a history there that we'll never know really. But what I can do is capture it for somebody who lives there and give them a chance to have a souvenir of their house, which is got to be so nice and so different.
Absolutely. So what do you actually specialise in? What's your main area that you model?
Dangerously, I've probably said, well, I've never said no to anything. So I have terrace houses. I do happily detached houses, semi-detached, any sort of house, any other buildings. I'll do as well, and that's gone from big buildings like the radio studio for Thameside Radio, which is an old mill. I've done a model for that for them. I've done a theatre in Hyde to help the charity boost their funds there. Extends to latest ones I'm doing actually are at a mosque in Nuneaton, which is fascinating to do. The actual building's beautiful.
Yeah, I bet that's incredible.
With a domed roof on, which has caused me a few problems, but then I like problems.
You like the challenge?
I never know how I'm going to do things until I start. And then, things like a bungalow I've done in 4 acres of land with a pond, a small castle that was built, play area, bandstand and 10 stables. And that in a frame about 2 feet by 18 inches by about 7 inches high.
So you'd be open to anything?
Yes.
You like a challenge?
I like a challenge. And I'll smile and say, yes, I can do that. And go behind the wall and think, oh no. But the main thing with all the models I do is working with the customer and finding out what they want with these models. Because quite often, you get satellite dishes on the front of house and things. It's something I always say, do you want them leaving on or do you want them taking off? And some want them leaving on because it's part of the building. And some want them removing. Things like alarm boxes or wires. In fact, one chap actually said, I was doing a terrace house. He says, the gutter's leaking on the top. Can you make it look as though it's not leaking?
So you do your magic.
I do my magic, yeah, that's right.
Do you get a lot of people asking, their childhood home? And with that, do you find it quite emotional? Because I think it can be quite emotional for certain people revisiting certain places or...
I've done 1 or 2. I think more so I do 3D pictures as well. So I'll take pictures of ideally a terrace house, and then put them in a frame which is a lot narrower, a lot thinner than a model, and build it up in about 4 or 5 layers so that it shows the windows and the frame and the front and the sills and the like. And some of those I've done have been for for sons and daughters, for their parents or grandparents.
Yeah.
And I've done 2 where the curtains on the ground floor window, they said, well, we'll take the curtains off. And one of them, the lady had taken a picture of the living room, the granddad's living room, which I put behind the glass, or the perspex for the glass. And the other one was again for a grandfather, and the grandmother had died recently. and she sent me a picture of her grandmother, and we put that inside the living room.
See,
And
that's lovely.
those two I did without visiting the house, because I got the people to take the pictures themselves.
Yeah.
Gave them an idea of what I needed, and then did it from that, and kept sending them images of what I was doing. Is this okay for you? How can I change it? And then we got the picture sent off.
Wow. That sounds amazing though. I quite like kind of going inside the worlds of people and exploring.
It's great working with. I have to work with people all the time because it's theirs. There's only one off.
Yeah.
They're not manufactured, and it has to show in there what they want. I mean, I got asked one time. I had to put a little lily of the valley plant outside the front door because her husband had bought her that.
Oh. Would your dream job be making a model village?
Yes, I could do, as long as I got the character and the personality of the village. And so for that, I need to know some of the people in the village, what they want from the model, and if you like, the interesting buildings you want to concentrate on.
Yeah.
Because you can't put a load of passion and ideas and history into a single building in a village. It's difficult to do. And likewise with the buildings there, a lot of people have a house but don't live for it.
Yeah.
But they're there in the village, and other people live for the house in the village, and that has to come out in the model.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you have to get the understanding of that, really.
Yeah.
There was one about a program on TV called Love Thy Neighbour, I think, wasn't it?
Yes.
Recently. Now that's an ideal situation where you've got all different characters in the centre of the village there, and that would be a fascinating village to do. But that everyone would want their own personality putting in their own house or business.
Yeah. So it's those two things together that you work with.
It is, because that would be a community thing, really.
Describe your typical day.
I wake up and I see to the dogs and whatever needs doing, and I start the work as and when I do. And sometimes, obviously, I've got to go out and look at some place to take some pictures when I've got the orders in. So I'll need to arrange that with the customer. I sometimes need some materials. I try and use recycled when I can. I mean, things like cardboard cat food boxes are very good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, certain types of cat
Great
food
tip there.
Because they're very thin but very, very strong.
Yeah.
But they come in small sizes, really. So I try and use that card where I can. I don't want to give too many secrets away. But I don't throw anything away. So I keep all sorts of things because you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm quite happy. I usually tell people when it comes to foliage, for example, I'm a great believer in tea leaves. Tea bags, once they've been used and get dried, and you can get different size of tea leaves, of course, in different tea bags. So once they're dried, they absorb paint very well. They absorb glue as well. The paint can help. I get the right colours because if somebody's got a tree in the house, I can't go out and buy a tree. The tree has to be the tree from the garden.
Yeah.
And if it's got 5 branches on or 3 or whatever, it's got to be like that. So I use wire of different thicknesses to make that.
There's amazing skill, isn't there, in creating kind of miniature objects. And so, like, have you had any training with that, or are you self-taught?
No, I'm self-taught, really. I don't know how you can. I don't know what there is that you can learn or you can train people to do. I mean, I quite often do some fairs where I'll take a separate work table with me and show what I can there. Bear in mind, you've got to be careful, health and safety knives and things. But it's always the kids that come and look. And that's when I started, when I was 15. And it's girls more often than lads for some reason. Asking, well, how do I do this, how do I do that? And that's great, because I love sort of showing people ideas and simple ideas, but listen to what ideas they've got and what they enjoy doing. And that's part of, hopefully, then some of those perhaps are a bit, when they're a bit older, they might say, oh, I remember going here and this is what started me doing this.
Do you do workshops then?
I don't do workshops as such. I have wondered about it. I've sort of gone to the local council with an idea and to one of the big banks as well, asking for ideas, saying, if I'd won the competition and things like that and got some funding, I'd love to do something like workshops. Yeah, model making, yes, but also on the other side of things, of problem solving, to take it out of that realm of actually doing models. But you get the companies saying, how do we work together and do like that? If you use a model as a way of communicating, then it's a great way of actually bringing a team together. I used to do some teaching in schools when I worked years ago for BT, and we used to go into school for a day with about 10 businesses, and had a class of about 10, 15, 20 kids there, and split them into two teams and give them newspaper and some straws and a lamp and a battery and some wire, and said, right, you've got an hour to make the tallest tower you can from what you got. And they used to get all excited and things and that. And so, well, everyone had to do this, one, had that. And they said, well, what, the team over there, they've got loads of newspaper. Is that what you want? Why don't you go and have a word and see what they can give to you, and get them bartering between the two. I used to love all that. And then at the end of the day, there was a competition to see who built the best one. And it was great because they could see, real people from outside, from an office.
Yeah, exactly.
What are these people like? That's it. So anything like that, anything that involves working with people.
What would you say is your favourite piece in your collection at the moment?
Probably the last one I did. Always, probably the last one I did. And that applies whenever you ask that question. It's got to be, because you get involved in part of it when you're making it. And at first I had a bit of a job thinking, I like this one, I think I'll keep that one, But it's not the point. It's a business. And so I enjoy meeting the people I'm dealing with, doing something for them, making sure they're happy with it, and knowing that they're happy with it, and it's gone. It's fine.
Have you had any unusual requests?
You never know what people are going to ask about. I get some of the markets I go to where people ask me all sorts of questions about models I do and how do I do them and things like that. And I always make sure I give them the flyer and they go away. And then occasionally I'll get people coming back, and the one I've had most often, I've had about 4 or 5 times perhaps, somebody saying, do you make models of motorbikes? And then I was thinking, well, no, I just do buildings. And in fact I did one of a half-timbered house in Stella Bridge one time. The gentleman there actually gave me the size of the wall space he had, which was 18 inches square and only 4 inches deep. And he says, I want to model doing it at my house. He made the frame for me out of thick glass, aquarium glass. And once he made that, I made the model, which was quite good. It's okay. Yeah. There's a space at the front where the bins had been, and he didn't want the bins showing them there, so I'd taken them off. And when I'd finished it, he said, well, yeah, the only thing is I've got a bike, he says, and it goes in front of the house there, can you do me a model of the bike for me? And I said, no. I think that's the first time I said no.
Wow.
And he actually managed to find, because you can buy these precision models of bikes anyway.
Yeah.
So that's another person's area, so no, I didn't. I get asked quite a lot, do you want, as I mentioned, satellite dishes putting on, or taking off, or wires and things like that. And other things, well, I've been asked to do a football stadium, and the people say, why don't you do some football stadiums like Manchester United or Manchester City or Leeds United or something? We've been making a bomb doing those, but that's not of any interest to me, really. Yeah, I would do something at the entrance of the front of the facade of the football ground, but to have something with loads and loads of grass inside and things like that, I don't think it would really work very well.
What advice would you give somebody starting out on their creative path?
Just do what you want to try and do, except that you'll find areas that you didn't think about that you'll end up going into, and go that way. Never turn an idea down, because somebody's idea they can give you, you need to translate that into your language and say, well, what does that mean? I think I could do it this way, not how they're talking about, but the idea is good, and turn it around that way, because at the end of the day, whatever you do is created by you, and it has, whether you like it or not, you've got your personality, your skills in there, Skills don't have to be absolutely perfect, because it's more the actual feeling of what you're doing that comes out. And then work on that. Always go for feedback from people.
For you, I think the dialogue with your customers and dialogue with the general public is really important, because it's that connection that you start with when you start making somebody's house or, building.
It's a very lonely life, being a crafts person or whatever, because you spend hours in the workshop or whatever working on things. So you need to get out and you need to see people. The best way to see people and get ideas, for me now, is on the market to do, because people come along with all sorts of ideas for you and you work with them. And it's okay, you can't do that any other way. It's not good me looking at a building and say that would really be nice, because the people who have the building probably aren't interested.
Yeah.
And so that's how it has to work. And with any work that you do when you're starting in business, accept that it may not turn out the way you wanted it to be. That you may end up doing, if you were building something or making something in blue, then it turns out that green might be the thing that people want, and so you do it in green instead. And you get a feeling of where your boundaries are and what you can do with it. So don't get disheartened with it. It is your business.
And develop it in the way that you want it to be.
Yeah.
What inspires you?
It's people's love of wanting to buy something that's different. Or so many people come to the stores and they say, well, it's amazing what you do. I wish you all the luck with it. It's a lovely idea. I've not seen that before. Oh, isn't it wonderful? And I know they're not going to buy anything in a lot of cases, because a lot of people don't have money to buy individual presents like that, but they love the chance of looking at something that they haven't seen before.
And the concept.
The concept is there, yeah, very, very clever. And okay, so they may well go away. I always talk to people like that. They may go away and they will talk to other people and say, I saw something on the market I've not seen before, and it's this. And slowly, I suppose I'm getting famous in my little area.
Yeah, I think the thing with your work is when I first saw it, it's so inspirational, and it's so different as well. And the more you look at it, the more you look at the craftsmanship and the skill. It kind of brings me back to my childhood of like kind of obviously miniature things and that kind of thing. But also I just see it in so many different ways as well. Like I'm already thinking it'd be great to have my childhood home done and things like that, because it's capturing memories. And I know you can capture memories in a photograph, and especially now a lot of people do videos and things like that. But for me to have something that I can see on a day-to-day basis, I think that'd be something really special.
Yeah, and it's working with the person to find out what they want is the great thing about that. That's the main. That's the. I don't know, the personality that comes out and the atmosphere that comes out. Because, as I've said many times, we all look in 3D.
Yeah.
And so a model is that more natural to look at than a picture.
I think a model is a closer connection than a picture, because you almost can touch it. So I think it's a lovely thing that you do. So do you think you found your niche then? This is what you are, this is what you do, and this is what you're going to carry on doing and evolving and just getting better and better and growing with your customer base and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, and taking all the challenges on. I mean, the shops I do, when I first started, they used to just use a picture of the shop window and put it behind perspex. Now, what do I do now? I show the inside of the shop. I did a craft shop recently with a load of display shelves inside. In
the part of your process of your work, what do you love most about what you do? What element do you love most about it? From the start to the finish.
Knowing that at some stage in the model, may happen once, might happen 10 times, there's a certain thing I do that I didn't know I was going to do that turns into something magic. Oh. And that sort of something can be unexpected, or something can be really difficult that I didn't think I could do. I'll do it and I think, wow, that's really worked.
Yeah.
And that's the next starting point for me to say, well, we've done that. Now it's starting to take shape. And of course, with a model, what you start with, you tend to build it from the back and work forwards. And so you tend to do each layer as carefully as you can. The back ones aren't always that interesting. But when you start putting features in front of it, suddenly that comes alive. And that's the great thing. But when it gets near to the end of what I think is the model, I'll start looking at photographs again that were taken, notes are taken from the customer, and probably get a list of 20 things to do. You know, like a wooden gate needed on the left and things like that, and must do a lamppost there, and then tick them off. Sense tells me now that, you know, I double check at that stage with the customer, because I've done one or two models where, I mean, one I did of a cafe, and it had a folding blind outside the window, and I forgot to put the blind on.
Oh no!
I'd done all the pictures of it, spent hours getting the thing right, and I realised it, and I put it in the glass case and sealed it up, thinking this is it. And then I was about to take it to the customer, and I thought, no, I missed that off.
Oh.
And so I had to delay things. I had to take the front off the model, which is I can do, and put the thing on. And
so you follow a checklist now, do you?
I do.
Yeah.
That top. So,
yeah.
And the other way around it to do is I make sure I can say where I can. I mean, sometimes these are models for people that don't know they're going to get them, so I can't ask the actual person
Client.
what about. But I can ask the one that's ordered it, says, look, have I got everything on there? Which is what I try and do. I email them pictures or whatever. Just say, please have a really good look on there, because I'm about to seal it up.
Yeah. Have you got any exciting news or exhibitions or things that you're doing coming forward?
Yes. I've been nominated for the Innovative Business of the Year by Tameside Council. And the award ceremony is on the 20th of May. So when this goes out, perhaps I'll know one way or the other. I'm in the top 3 of my category. So we'll have to see what comes from that.
Brilliant.
That's come out of the blue, really. So that's that part of it. What else am I into? Obviously, the arts market here is going to be really great. Because I've been at Home First Market a couple of times, and I love the atmosphere of the market. And I love the vitality of the town as well. And now, of course, Last of Summer Wine is finished, but then, you know, the actual character of the whole town is there, and the feeling within the town is great.
What day are you doing the art market?
I'm there on the Sunday, the 5th of June, so that's where I'll be, downstairs by the staircase. Great. I like the downstairs area of the market because it's so open, you just walk in from the street. So that's what I'm doing there. I may be doing something with Tameside Council. I do the farmers market last Sunday in Ashton-under-Lyne, and I think they're trying to promote the market somewhat. So maybe I'll be getting involved with helping with that and showing some of the models as being one of the unusual, wacko kind of things people learn.
Yeah.
So lots of things happening.
For everybody listening, where can we buy your work, for one? And also, you know, where can we contact you if we want any commissions done?
I use the website. It's there as a catalogue of what I do. And the address is www. as it goes. Then it's Mosley Model Maker, and that's MOSSLEY, mosleymodelmaker.com. Now on there I put all the pictures of the models that I can do. Where I've done models for people as presents and the like, then I don't put them on the website. Obviously that wouldn't be fair, but I try where I can to get permission to put the pictures on there. So you can get an idea of what I do on there. I also list any of the craft fairs, if I do any craft fairs or markets, as far in advance as I can. I've got my price list on there, and you know, there's a chance to actually contact me really by email. You can see where I show the models, and I've got some models in some of the local shops around where people can go.
Where are they?
Well, these shops are, because I'm in Mosley, we've got 2 models in Mosley, one at Andy Taylor's Butchers, a well-known butchers in Mosley, and one at the Escape Cafe as well. And I've got one over the border in Oldham, which is a chippy called Fridays. Now, that is such a popular model, I can tell from the website, that it gets so many hits. Probably gets more hits in the month than the one I did for Tameside Radio in Ashton-under-Lyne, which is obviously after.
Well, that's good. It is a nice feature, though, isn't it, for a building or premises to have a little model. I think it's quite cute, and as you say, kind of children love seeing little miniature kind of models of things, and I think it attracts attention as well to the actual building.
Kids are a great thing with these because when I say the times you get people come in to look at things and they're fascinated by the fact that they can see things, and quite often I'll pick up a model I've got one of a shop actually, of a cafe, with the owner of the cafe inside behind the counter. And
is that the one that you did in London?
Yeah, in London, yeah.
And for any gallery owners listening, are you open to do any exhibitions?
Yes, I'm available at a very reasonable charge, of course. So I'll do things for nothing. I just like to get out and meet people. Any chance to meet people is superb.
Brilliant. It's been fantastic speaking to you. Absolutely fascinating, and I look forward to seeing you at the art market.
Lovely, and thank you very much for the chance of speaking to you as well.
Thank you. If you would like to know more about the art markets, go to www.artmarkets.co.uk.